Faith. According to Hebrews 11, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. The assurance of things hoped for. The assurance of things hoped for. Do you have things that you're hoping for? Yeah, me too. I have a whole list every day. Faith is knowing that your prayers are answered. Knowing that those things that you hope for are already yours. The assurance of things hoped for. And the conviction of things not seen. That would be God in every motion. If we're looking to find God as a person, place, or thing that we can see. Whereas if we understand God to the limited view that we can understand God, then we see God in everything. We know that God is everywhere present, all-powerful, all-knowing. I love that. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. We have sang that prayer of faith twice. Did you guys notice that it was actually the same prayer? How wonderful that this prayer has lasted through the years. This actually, second only to the prayer for protection, the most utilized unity prayer. It's been around longer than the prayer for protection. And it was written by a woman named Hannah Moore Kohouse. And we have a video. Remember I told you guys last week when we did, not last week, the week before, when we did the prayer for protection, we listened to Charles Fillmore saying the prayer for protection. And I said, every day in Unity Village at 11 o'clock, everything would stop and we would hear either Charles Fillmore doing the prayer for protection or we would hear Myrtle Fillmore saying the prayer of faith. So we're going to listen to that.
God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger need. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am right, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am come to and be, to grasp the truth that is in me. God is my help, I shall be safe. God is my strength of feeling quick. God is my all, I know no fear. Thank God and love and truth are here. Amen.
Amen. The prayer of faith. Now, Myrtle Fillmore was, she believed that our salvation lied in the children. She knew that with every soul of her being. She published many publications for children, and she worked with the children her entire adult life. That was her mission, her purpose, and she did a great job at it. So that prayer is actually, that little snippet that you heard is actually part of a talk that she was giving on how we teach our children. And she believed that we should teach our children to pray with this prayer. So if it seems a little simple, did everybody get one when they came in?
They're going to get them on their way out because they got the green cards on their way in.
Boy, I tell you, we have so much stuff here you got to get. Isn't that right?
We're sending online blood test.
You'll get it on the way out, little card, so that you can hang it on your refrigerator. But it may seem a little simple, and of course, that's its beauty, right? And the whole prayer is just an affirmation, an assurance of things hoped for. And then the last line is that conviction of things not seen. So this prayer represents Hebrews 11:1 to a T. God is my help in every need. God is our one and only true source to everything, right? God does my every hunger feed. We talked about that last week. Right? God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of this day. How many of you did actually practice taking God with you wherever you went a few weeks ago? We had that little, I know Teresa did. It's a fun practice to try. Knowing that God is with you in every moment of your day, that God's got you in every moment of your day. This affirms that. I now am wise. What a cool thing for kids to say every day, right? I now am wise. I now am true. Patient and kind and loving too. As he smacks the sister. Right? What a cool thing. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ, the truth that is in me. You know, I'm going to read you a scripture. This time it's out of Mark. We have to give all the other guys a fair break too. It's in Mark 10, starting with 13, I believe it's through 18. It's called The Little Children and Jesus. People were bringing little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them. But the disciples rebuked them. When Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, "Let the little children come to me, and do not stop them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. Truly, I tell you, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it." Anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it. How many of you have heard that before? Yay. So I think Myrtle had it going on. Perfect, beautiful, simple child prayer that affirms everything that we know about the truth of God and our relationship to God. So, how do we be of child mind? It's hard when you grow up, right? You got lots of responsibilities and things you're thinking about all the time, and things you're worrying about all the time. It makes it really, really hard to be a child mind. But I have a few things that might help. What makes a kid's mind a child's mind? Children believe that all things are possible. You know, we say all the time, through God all things are possible. But children actually don't know that there are things that aren't possible. They honestly believe that they can grow up and be Spider-Man. Right? I love that they do not understand what we have grown up to believe. That we are limited. I'm not going to be the President of the United States, and I'm not going to be a linebacker for an NFL football game. There are limits in my life. In children, there aren't any limits. They can take a box and turn it into a house, a car, anything that they want it to be. Right? Kids believe all things are possible, and they are endlessly creative. Endlessly. My daughter was so funny when she was growing up. About 12 months old, actually. She found the plunger to be the most fascinating item in the entire house. And she would use that plunger as a walking stick forever and ever. She used that plunger. You know, it was okay with me. It was clean. I made sure we got another one for use, and you know, she could have the plunger. But she used that thing to explore the entire house. That was her walking stick. That kept her steady, and there was no place she couldn't go as long as she had her plunger. Now, the only time it was awkward, of course, was when I was doing out the little children's book where it says baby's favorite toy. Then it got a little bit awkward, but they're endlessly creative. I was at my wit's end, wanting her to get dressed. No, really, I just wanted her in the car. Get in the car. Please, I beg you. And she, even when she couldn't speak, she could hold those arms like this so tight so that I couldn't get her dressed or undressed. Always had a mind of her own. I don't know where she gets that from. Oh, so one day, I was just tired. And I finally surrendered to the endless creativity of the child and said, dress yourself, let's get in the car. So she came out very proudly. She was wearing 2 turtlenecks. They both had prints. One was a Christmas print, and the other one was totally different, print. One she had on and it was summer, by the way. One she had on like a normal turtleneck. The other one she had put on and pulled all the way down so that the turtleneck was around her waist, and then she'd taken the arms and tied them in a bow in front of her. She was just as happy as she could possibly be. She turned the second one into a skirt with a big old bow, and we went out. The endless creativity of children. How often do we take the time to be so creative? It never occurred to that child mind that a turtleneck has to be worn with your arms in the sleeve and the turtleneck around your neck. I doubt she even knew it was called a turtleneck. Right? What do we do? What do you do to explore that creativity, to play, to expand and open your heart and your mind through creativity? Every time we practice, and for adults it has to be practiced, right? Every time we practice our creativity, we are being of child mind, and we are allowing God to enter into our heart and into our lives. Whether it's wrapping presents at Christmas time very meticulously with ribbons and beautiful paper, or if you're a sewer or an artist. I know we have lots of artists in this congregation, which is wonderful. Gardening. Taking some old piece of furniture that might otherwise go by the side of the road and turning it into a beautiful mosaic or whatever. Anything. Creativity of the spoken word. Creativity of music. Oh, we're crying out loud. Actually, Debbie asked me when you started rapping, she said, did he write this? Believe it or not, it's out on YouTube. It's pretty cool. Yeah, creativity, endless. Children, they also have an enormous capacity to be uninhibited. I watched some of the funniest videos while I was getting ready for this talk. Have you ever watched videos out on YouTube of children dancing? Babies dancing? There is absolutely no way you cannot be in an incredibly fantastic mood if you're watching videos of babies dancing. And I mean, they just go for it. The second the music starts and every part of their body's moving and their faces smiling and they're laughing. And a couple of times the parents turned off the music and the kids went, until the music came back on and they started again. To be totally, completely uninhibited. And they'll sing and dance and do whatever in public and yay. How many of us do that? How many of us are comfortable even though? Yes, I can see Zach. I'm not at all surprised that Zach would do that. It's sweet that our singer would do that, but yeah. I myself, not a chance. Right? If it's really, really dark and I'm in a corner, it's one of those things I haven't broken into yet. I haven't found the dancer in me yet. But that's it. Maybe we're going to have us a dance party so we can all break in. Right? Children make healthy relationships extremely quickly. Have you ever noticed you just bring your child somewhere and there's another kid and suddenly they're best friends? They just start playing and then they introduce each other to, and they say exactly what it is that they want, what they don't want. I don't want to play that. I want that toy. My name is whatever, and blah, blah, blah. They immediately make friends. Immediately. They can be best friends in about a minute and a half. It's the most wonderful thing. And they're very healthy in that they are very honest about who they are and what they want. They have very quick bonds with people because they haven't been taught yet through trial and error not to trust. As far as they know, life is good. They can trust everyone. They don't have to be convinced that people are safe. Sometimes, I know when they're quite young, we try to make sure they understand the difference of what's safe and not safe, right? Because we want to keep them safe. They don't know the difference. My daughter, well, she still would leave with actually anybody. She'll be your best friend in about a minute and a half. At 25 years of age, she'll still be your best friend, and she'd leave with anybody at any time. So I was constantly hanging on to her entire childhood, constantly. And no separation anxiety either. Bye, Mom. But they haven't experienced enough to not make friends very easily. The last thing that I wanted to mention about kids is that they haven't learned yet to take life seriously. We do take life too seriously sometimes, don't we? Kids haven't figured that out. They don't have any rules or guidelines. They don't have to get a paper in, until they've started school. Kids, they got it going on. When we were growing up, the only rule we had was when the street lights came on, we got home, right? We were out doing whatever we wanted to do, exploring, riding our bikes, doing whatever, but boy, when it was dark, we needed to be home. Don't take life too seriously. Make sure you give yourself time to go exploring, to be creative, to do all the things that kids would do, play. I know we say that a lot, and I think some of you are looking at me funny. I'm wondering if it's because you already play, or you don't want to play, or who knows. But happiness comes from a child mind. There was a famous Swiss psychologist who said that the child mind is the only normal mind. The child mind is the only normal mind. How many parents say, not a chance? How many teachers go, no way? But he says that they're the normal mind because as a human being, it's our natural instinct to want to explore. It's our natural instinct to want to have fun. It's our natural instinct to want to get out there and do things that kids will do. And it's only after we get domesticated that we decide that that's not the right thing to do, right? So child mind, he says, is the only normal mind. Emmett Fox wrote, "The art of living happily lies in the art of living adventurously." Think of happiness as not something to have, but something to be. Nothing can make you happy, but anything can provide you with the opportunity to be happy if you want to be so. Happiness is not an outer achievement, a destination at the end of the road, but rather it's an inner potential, a latent energy which must be expressed at the beginning of the journey. In other words, you have to make a decision before you start that you're going to have a good time. How many of you do that? How many of you know someone that always decides they're not going to have a good time before they even leave the house? Right? Let's not be that one. No. A latent energy which must be expressed at the beginning of the journey. Joy is not something we should try to get out of our work, but something we should put into our work. Yay! There's an idea. When people tell me, I hate my job, I can't wait to leave. How long have you hated it? Ever since I've been working. How long have you been working there? 5 years. That's a long time to be unhappy. How about tomorrow you try going into work and enjoy yourself. Find something that brings you joy. I think chances are you're not going to get another job until you can be happy in the one that you have. And then as soon as you're happy in the one that you'll have 3 choices of a new job. Because that's the way it works. The lesson to learn is to bring the joy with you to your job. Stir up your inner spark and let it shine. Know, as Jesus said, that the kingdom of heaven is within. Start every morning resolving to let that kingdom come through you. Love that. So, to be the child, we're all going to decide that we really can be Spider-Man. But we are going to know. We're going to practice knowing that the things that we hope for are achievable. The things that we hope for are ours. They're there. They're gifts from God that are ready for us when we're ready to receive. We're going to practice being creative in every possible way that we can. I know a woman who would make every meal a special adventure. She would put down tablecloths and candles and bring in beautiful china, even if she was only eating by herself, making the ordinary extraordinary. It's a wonderful way to express our creativity, to open up our minds and to think outside the box. Have that enormous capacity to be uninhibited. I kind of got like little goosebumps when I even said that, because I just envisioned myself somewhere dancing. That made me nervous. Make healthy relationships. Be honest with what you like and what you don't like and who you are, and try to show your best Christed self to everyone and everything that you do. And don't take yourself or life too seriously. Because each and every day you have the opportunity to make it what you want it to be. You can decide before that day begins that you're going to have a joyous day, that you're going to be healthy, whole, and complete that day, that you are already the person that you desire to be. Every day, you can make that decision. And then watch those children and see what we can learn from them.